When did a friend's birthday party drain your life savings and leave you plotting arson? #AITA for wanting to burn down an artist colony after I found out my friend drained my savings to pay for his 63rd birthday party and lied about a $43.67 grocery bill. Part 1. I am sitting here in my 2018 Honda Civic in the Costco parking lot at 3:17 a.m. and I literally just checked my bank account again, praying it was a glitch, but no. The zero is still there. The big fat insulting zero. My stomach has been doing the Macarena since 5:30 p.m. yesterday, and I have officially decided that my life is currently a dumpster fire fueled by Talenti Gelato and righteous fury. I don't even know where to start with this, honestly. It's like a Lifetime movie written by a financially illiterate goblin. Let's lay the groundwork. My name is Christian Thompson, 28M. I am a recovering workaholic. I mean, truly recovering. I used to be the guy who answered Slack messages at 1 a.m. I burned out hard 2 years ago and moved to the Willowbrook Collective, which is basically an artist colony disguised as a ramshackle group of expensive bungalows in rural upstate New York. It sounds idyllic, but it's mostly just a bunch of older, eccentric people who run on passive aggression and terrible coffee. This whole mess revolves around Aaron Gallagher, 63M. Aaron is supposedly a renowned sculptor, but mostly he's just a mean girlfriend, only in cargo shorts and Birkenstocks. He's that person who gives you unsolicited life advice while somehow always making you feel inadequate about your lack of abstract bronze work. He also had a milestone birthday coming up, his 63rd, and he'd been planning this elaborate, frankly ridiculous party for 2 months. Then there's the financial angle. When I moved in, Aaron and I, along with Claire Foster, 57F, the colony's self-appointed queen bee and resident manipulative charmer, decided to set up a shared colony maintenance joint account. Claire is a painter who specializes in hyper-realistic portraits of very smug dogs. She uses manipulation like breathing. It's subtle, it's gentle, and you only realize you've been played when you're already holding the bag. The idea was wed pool money for shared utilities, repairs, and community events, things like fixing the perpetually leaky water heater in Unit 3B, which cost us an absurd $85 for the plumber last month, or the communal Netflix subscription, which Claire immediately upgraded to the highest tier because who watches streaming in SD, honestly? I put in the bulk of the money initially, about $12,000, because I had just sold some stocks and was trying to prove I was community-minded and not just a corporate drone. Past me was an absolute clown. For context, Aaron and Claire share a bungalow and have been tight for decades. They are the definition of toxic best friends. I am the naive younger guy who thought these older, established artists were wise mentors. In GL, I was just craving structure and friendship after leaving my intense tech job. The red flags were subtle at first, like the time Willie Johnson, 39M, the colony's resident, reply all abusers, seriously, he CCs the entire 40-person mailing list if he needs to know where the paper towels are. Asked me if I'd seen Aaron's new power tools. Aaron, who never works, bought a whole set of high-end equipment. He just shrugged and said he was investing in his practice. Okay, whatever. Then the money started disappearing in weird ways. 2 weeks ago, I noticed a $347 bill for catering supplies from a local gourmet shop. I texted Claire 57F about it. Hey, what's the $347 charge from Gourmet Goods? Was that for the potluck last weekend? Claire, oh sweetheart, that was just a deposit for Aaron's birthday setup. Don't worry your pretty head about it. Well, cover it with the ticket sales. Ticket sales? What ticket sales? I thought Aaron's 63rd was just a casual community dinner. I called Aaron 63M immediately. He had the nerve to answer on speakerphone while loudly mixing what sounded like a complicated cocktail. Me, Aaron, what's going on with the party? Claire mentioned tickets. And a $347 deposit. Aaron, slightly slurring, Christian, darling, it's a big party. We're celebrating life. I invited dozens of my esteemed colleagues from the city. They expect excellence. We're getting professional catering, a string quartet, the works. It's going to be transformative. Me, transformative. Aaron, the joint account is for maintenance. We still owe $1,247 for the quarterly rent contribution for the communal studio space. Aaron, details. It's an investment, Christian, exposure for the colony. I was getting a seriously tight chest feeling. I am an analyst by nature and the math wasn't mathing. I logged into the account later that day, Tuesday at 11:47 a.m. and I saw a string of weird transactions. Small stuff like 4 separate $200 withdrawals over the course of 3 days labeled art supplies. Aaron doesn't use $200 worth of supplies in a year, let alone 3 days. Then there was the truly bizarre one, a $43.67 charge labeled TJGROCRIS. Aaron, I was already agitated, so this small charge became my breaking point, which I know sounds stupid, but hear me out. We had a strict rule: personal groceries come from personal funds. The joint account was not for individual consumption. I texted Aaron, did you use the maintenance card for Trader Joe's this morning? He didn't respond for 5 minutes, but the typing dots kept flickering on and off. Finally, he replied, oh, must have been an accident. I'll Zelle you the $43.67 right now. Sorry, I waited. No Zelle notification. 10 minutes passed. Me still waiting for the Zelle. Aaron, I am serious. Hang on, my phone is dying. He has a Samsung Galaxy and constantly complains about the battery at 3%. I'll send it when I get back to the studio. He never sent it. The sheer pettiness of lying about a $43.67 grocery bill when he owed me thousands for other things made me rage. It was the principle of the thing. It showed me he thought he could get away with anything. That night, I started spiraling. I couldn't sleep. I was staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the times I dismissed the red flags. like how Aaron had insisted the joint debit card be linked to his Apple Watch for easy access to emergency funds, or how Claire always handled the bills because she had the better organizational system. I know, past me was such an idiot. I was trying to de-stress from corporate life, not start a forensic accounting career. This morning, Thursday, I decided I was done, just done. I was going to pull all my remaining money out of the joint account, transfer it to my personal savings at a different bank, and tell them to figure out how to pay for Aaron's disastrous party themselves. I had about $6,500 left, which I needed because I am saving up for the security deposit on a new apartment outside this loony bin. I logged into the account on my iPhone 14, and that's when my vision went blurry and my hands started shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. The account balance was $12.47. $1,247, which should have been my portion of the communal studio rent due this week, but no, just $12.47. I refreshed the page 4 times. I felt physically sick. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. It wasn't just gone, it was aggressively gone. I started scrolling through the transactions, heart pounding, trying to breathe, but my chest was so tight it felt like I was wearing a concrete vest. The last week was a blur of high-end charges. 920. Wire transfer catering EXOTECUE $2800 00921. Home Depot power washing EQIP $987 5921. VNMO payout CLARE Foster $1500 00 memo. Party planning advance 922. AMZ Prime COSTUMES Decor $750 00 they had blown through over $6000 in 3 days for a party. Aaron's 63rd birthday party. I saw red, I saw actual literal red. I grabbed my car keys, slammed the door of my bungalow and drove straight to Claire and Aaron's place. I found Claire Foster, 57F, on their deck, sipping artisanal tea and talking on the phone. She looked serene and utterly unbothered, wearing a flowing linen kaftan. "Claire," I screamed, my voice shaking. She held up a finger, smiling condescendingly. "Hold on, darling, artist emergency." I walked right up to her, holding my phone open to the damning bank statement. "Where's the money, Claire? Where is $6,500? She ended the call abruptly, her serenity cracking. "Christian, you need to calm down. The neighbors can hear you." "I don't care about the neighbors. You drained the account. Where is Aaron?" "He's at the studio finalizing the centerpiece. Look, we had to advance some funds. The catering deposit was higher than expected. Aaron's vision is expensive." "Aaron's vision is not my emergency fund." I felt the ugly crying starting, that snot everywhere, can't catch my breath kind of crying. "That money was for my deposit. I'm moving out in 2 months. Claire actually sighed, adjusting the expensive scarf around her neck. "Honestly, Christian, you're being dramatic. You're a young man. Y'all make more money. Aaron's 63rd is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We were going to pay it back after the gifts came in." "Pay it back with gifts? Are you out of your mind? You literally stole my rent money." Just then, Christine Sullivan, 50F, who lives next door and is notorious for being the Zoom camera always-off person during community meetings, meaning she's always lurking but never visible, poked her head out the window. She was wearing a bathrobe and looked mildly annoyed. "Is everything all right, you two? I'm trying to listen to my wellness podcast." Claire immediately switched gears, transforming into a persecuted victim. "It's fine, Christine. Christian is just having a little meltdown about the party funds. He's being too sensitive about the budget." "Too sensitive? I was too sensitive. I wanted to take her bespoke teacup and smash it against her perfect head." "You know what?" I said, pointing the phone at her. "I saw the Venmo transaction. You paid yourself $1,500 for party planning advance. Was that to buy that ridiculous kaftan?" She completely dismissed me. "That's personal, Christian." And Aaron had a momentary financial issue. You know, he's prone to overcommitting to his art. "A financial issue? What kind of financial issue requires draining the entire joint savings account 2 weeks before his party?" And that's when Claire Foster, 57F, looked me dead in the eyes and delivered the punchline. "Well, he's been paying his ex-wife's legal fees for the last 6 months, she said, calm as a cucumber. "The divorce was messier than he let on. He needed the cash flow, so we decided to pool resources temporarily. It's not theft, it's friendship." My jaw literally dropped, like cartoon character jaw drop. Aaron, 63M, has been dating his current partner Brenda for 5 years and has always claimed he's been divorced for a decade. He's been complaining about unexpected financial burdens for months, which I assumed meant studio overhead. "He's not divorced," I stammered, feeling the blood drain from my face. "He's still married and he's paying legal fees with the maintenance fund." "Well, he will be divorced soon," Claire said airily. "It just required a bit of financial flexibility. Think of it as an investment in Aaron's future happiness. And yours too. You wouldn't want to attend a party thrown by a technically married man, would you?" I couldn't even process the betrayal. Not only had he stolen my money, but the entire basis of his persona was a lie. He was putting on an incredibly expensive show, the party, to mask a profound, deeply expensive personal disaster, and he expected me to fund it. I walked straight to my car. I was crying so hard I couldn't see the road, which is why I ended up pulling into this Costco lot. I had 27 calls from Aaron in the last hour, all of which I sent straight to voicemail. I was sitting here trying to figure out what to do next. Call the police, call the bank, text Brenda. I was leaning heavily toward texting Brenda. Then an alert popped up on my phone. It was from the joint account. A new transaction. It was a Zelle transfer for $43.67. Memo: TJ Giro Sirius, sorry I was busy. The audacity. They had drained my entire savings, and he was sending me the exact amount for the Trader Joe's bill he lied about 2 days ago, probably thinking that small payment would somehow smooth things over. I checked the account balance again, $12.47 plus $43.67 $56.14. I was raging, but I was all strangely cold now. I realized my anger wasn't enough. I needed revenge. The kind of revenge that involves total annihilation. I knew Aaron's big party was scheduled for Saturday night. It was supposed to be the crowning glory of the colony social calendar. I looked at the list of transactions again. I saw a charge for a specific company, Exotique Event Rentals. If they used my money to finance the transformative party that was going to invest in Aaron's future happiness, I was going to make sure that investment yielded 0 returns. I had 2 days. I started typing a new message on my phone, not to Aaron, not to Claire, but to Willie Johnson 39M, the reply all abuser. Willie, despite his email habits, had a surprisingly good grasp on the colony's infrastructure, especially the security cameras and the Ring doorbell footage setup they used for the main gate. I needed information, and Willie loved feeling important. The thing is, Aaron's masterpiece, the centerpiece he was finalizing, was a giant, unstable kinetic sculpture called The Flow of Life. It was huge, made of heavy scrap metal, and currently sitting in the middle of the studio where the party was being held. I typed, "Willie, I need to know the gate code sequence and the electrical shut-off location for the studio. Urgent, do not reply all." I hit send. Before Willie could respond, a new notification popped up on my bank app, this time from my personal credit card, the one I hadn't used in 3 days. It was a purchase I definitely did not make. Target. $200 Purchase description, adult DIAPRS and 3 cases of Diet Coke. What the actual fuck? Why would Aaron or Claire have access to my private credit card, and why are they buying adult diapers? I froze. That purchase could only mean one thing: they hadn't just drained the joint account. They had gotten into my personal files. And then I remembered, Aaron, the man who couldn't remember passwords, had asked me for my password to Hulu last month, claiming he wanted to watch that one documentary. I gave him the one I used for everything, my birthday and the name of my first pet. I felt a new, terrifying wave of panic wash over me. I wasn't just dealing with embezzlers. I was dealing with identity thieves. I had to confront them, but I couldn't do it alone. I needed an accomplice. And the only person more intimately familiar with Aaron's lies and Claire's manipulation was the one person they were trying desperately to keep away from the whole situation. I opened my phone again. I found the number for Brenda, the woman Aaron had been dating for 5 years while still technically married. I had to tell her everything, but first I needed to check my credit score. I looked down at the Target receipt again, $200 adult diapers. Why? Why would a 63-year-old sculptor need adult diapers? I clicked on Brenda's contact. My hands were shaking so hard I almost hit the wrong name. I started typing, "Brenda, this is Christian. I need to talk to you about Aaron's birthday party and his marital status. Also, I think he just used my credit card to buy Depends. This is urgent." I hit send. I had destroyed the joint account by revealing the theft to Brenda, but that wasn't enough. I needed to destroy the party, the centerpiece, and Aaron's carefully constructed life, and I needed to do it before Saturday. I got a text notification. It wasn't Willie, it was Brenda. Her reply was a single cryptic text. "Too late, I already knew." #AITA for wanting to burn down an artist colony after I found out my friend drained my savings to pay for his 63rd birthday party and lied about a $43.67 grocery bill. Part 2. I looked at the text again. "Too late, I already knew." My entire meticulously planned, vengeful masterpiece, the one where I dramatically break the news to Brenda and we team up to torch Aaron's kinetic sculpture, was preemptively incinerated by 3 short words. I felt the last vestiges of my Costco parking lot fury drain away, leaving only a hollow, stomach-churning anxiety. I was dealing with layers of lies I hadn't even begun to scratch. I texted back instantly, ignoring the dozen new voicemails from Aaron that were piling up on my phone. We knew what: the money, the divorce, the Depends, Brenda 58F, and I realized I didn't even know her age until I googled her LinkedIn profile 5 minutes ago. NGL, all of it, especially the Depends. Wait, what? Me? Why the Depends? Brenda, he has a nervous bladder when he's stressed. He used your card because the one Claire gave him was maxed out paying for the string quartet deposit. I think he assumed the $200 Target charge would fly under the radar better than the $2,800 catering wire. I slammed my head against the steering wheel. Literally, this wasn't some sophisticated financial scheme. This was panicked, sloppy theft motivated by bladder control issues and an inflated ego. I had lost $6,500 over a midlife crisis and adult diapers. The cold clarity returned. Brenda was not an accomplice. She was a deeply wronged co-conspirator in the grand performance that was Aaron's life. I immediately called her. I didn't care that it was 3:45 a.m. She answered on the first ring, sounding incredibly calm, too calm. "Christian, I was wondering when you'd catch up," she said, her voice dry. "Brenda, I don't know what to say. He stole my security deposit. He's draining my credit card. He's having a party Saturday that is funded by literal embezzlement. And he's not even divorced." "No, he's not," she confirmed. "He never told his wife Linda that he was leaving her for good. He just moved into the colony 5 years ago to find himself and occasionally pays her legal bills when the guilt or the court dates get too real. So he's paying for his divorce from Linda using money he stole from me to impress guests at a party he's throwing while dating you." Brenda, I needed a flowchart. "Exactly," she said. "The party isn't a celebration, it's a smoke screen. Linda is threatening to reveal everything to his foundation board if he doesn't cough up $10,000 by Monday. He's using the party to secure a huge commission from a collector who's flying in from Dallas, hoping he can pay off Linda with the advance. This was worse than I thought. This was high-stakes soap opera financial fraud. Okay, Brenda, we need to talk. Can we meet? I have 2 days before this transformative event happens. Meet me at the Willowbrook Diner at 7 a.m., booth 3. Order the stale blueberry muffin. Nobody ever bothers you in booth 3. Update, 7:00 a.m. Willowbrook Diner. I hadn't slept, but the adrenaline was doing an efficient job of replacing caffeine. Brenda showed up wearing a heavy trench coat and dark sunglasses, looking like she was filming a Cold War spy thriller. She ordered black coffee and immediately slid a laminated sheet across the table. "This is the guest list," she whispered, even though the diner was empty except for old Gus reading the paper by the window. "Look at numbers 4, 7, and 12. I scanned the list, which looked like the who's who of pretentious regional art patrons. Number 4, Wallace T. Sterling, collector, Dallas. Number 7, Linda G. Gallagher, attorney and currently Aaron's technical wife. Number 12, Christine Sullivan, Zoom camera, always off, person 50F. Wait," I choked on my coffee. "Linda is coming to the party, his actual wife." "Yes, Linda is an attorney, Christian," Brenda said, taking a massive gulp of coffee. "She's not stupid. She knows he's desperately trying to land the Sterling commission. She booked a ticket to the party to negotiate the final settlement face-to-face, surrounded by witnesses, leveraging the social embarrassment." "And Christine Sullivan?" I asked, pointing to 12. "Why is the camera off lady listed? Is she a witness?" "Christine is the secret keeper for everyone in the colony," Brenda explained. "She's only off camera because she's always documenting. Ring camera footage, screenshots, recording calls. She's the colony's shadow archivist. Claire and Aaron are terrified of her." This was a goldmine. Aaron was trying to use my money to impress a collector, settle a divorce, and keep his girlfriend and wife separate at the same event. The man was a walking disaster. "Why are you telling me this, Brenda?" I asked. "You've been putting up with this for 5 years," she sighed, pulling off the sunglasses, revealing intense exhaustion. "I thought the party was just about Aaron's ego. When I heard he was draining your account, the young man who just wanted community, that crossed the line. I am done, and I know how to completely derail this thing." The plan, Operation Flow of Life detonation, the goal shifted from petty revenge to strategic collapse. We couldn't just ruin the party, we had to ensure Aaron got neither the commission nor the quick settlement, forcing him to address his massive debt, including what he owed me. Brenda had the inside track on the party logistics. She revealed the following key details. 1. The centerpiece, Aaron's kinetic sculpture, the Flow of Life, was indeed the central focus. It was mounted on a temporary, elevated platform in the studio. It was designed to turn slowly, but Brenda revealed the internal mechanisms were fragile. "If you adjust the counterweight by about 7 pounds, the whole thing tilts," she said. "It will still turn, but it will look dramatically, embarrassingly crooked." 2. The toast. The crucial moment was the toast at 8:30 p.m. right after the string quartet finished their set. Wallace Sterling, the collector, would be standing right by the sculpture. 3. The announcement. Aaron planned to announce the big news regarding the Sterling commission during the toast. Brenda's suggestion was simple, elegant, and totally humiliating. "We need 3 things," she instructed. 1. Willie Johnson's assistance despite his reply all problem. 2. A way to broadcast a message without being physically present. 3. A 7-pound weight. Phase 1. Recruiting Willie. I finally read Willie Johnson's 39M reply all abuser text response from the night before, sent at 4:02 a.m. "Willie, are you serious? This is highly urgent. I have the gate CODES. The electrical is behind the propane tank for the outdoor grill. I will send you the PDF of the architectural DRAWINGS. Please confirm you received this before I reply all." I immediately called Willie, who was thrilled to be involved in high-stakes drama. "Willie, I need you to do something top secret. This can never be reply all. Do you understand? Your mission is to protect the colony from financial ruin." "Willie, I understand. This is serious. I am ONIT. What is the mission? Me, I need you to adjust the counterweight on Aaron's sculpture Friday morning. It needs to look intentional, but not like an accident. Can you discreetly attach this?" I showed Brenda's suggestion, a brick wrapped in a velvet scarf, claiming it was an aesthetic counterweight. "Willie, a velvet brick? Absolutely. I hate that sculpture. It blocks my view of the communal garden. I will do this for the sake of the cauliflower." Willie was in. He also confirmed that Claire 57F and Aaron 63M had changed the studio locks, but Willie had the old emergency key hidden under a specific rock near Unit 4ANGL. Willie's infrastructure knowledge was terrifyingly good. Phase 2, the setup and the confirmation. So it's been 2 days since the Costco lot breakdown. It's Friday now. Brenda and I spent Thursday gathering evidence. We downloaded every single statement from the joint account and the screenshots of the target receipt. Brenda had also gathered texts where Aaron admitted to needing urgent temporary cash flow from the colony fund for personal legal matters. We had a case, but the police bank route would take months. We needed immediate visible consequence. My credit card charges kept coming in, another $50 at a specialty liquor store near the studio. They were really leaning into the theft. I had already called the bank and reported the cards stolen, but the damage was done. My Hulu password changed, my savings transferred done to a separate new bank account. I was locking down my life. I also needed to confront Claire and Aaron, but not yet. The confrontation had to be public, humiliating, and tied directly to the sabotage. Fast forward to Friday night. Willie texted me a photo of the sculpture. "Willie, mission accomplished. The velvet brick is secure. It is now slightly off kilter. It looks uncomfortable. It was perfect. Aaron's grand, transformative flow of life now looked like it was having a minor existential crisis. Now for the broadcasting element. Brenda suggested we use the communal studio sound system. Aaron was using it for the string quartet, but it also had Bluetooth capability for emergency announcements. Willie confirmed the Bluetooth name was WLLOWBROK Emergency System. We planned to wait until Aaron started his toast, then hijack the audio system with a pre-recorded message. Saturday party day I did something I swore I would never do again. I wore a suit. Not because I was going to the party, but because I needed to look like a serious, wronged businessman when I called the authorities later. I drove out to a cafe 10 miles away and waited. Brenda was still at the colony, playing the role of the devoted partner, getting ready for the party. She was texting me updates from inside the snake pit. 5:00 p.m. String quartet arrived. They look expensive and miserable. Claire is in a gold lame jumpsuit. 6:30 p.m. Wallace Sterling the collector is here. He looks unimpressed by the slightly leaning sculpture. Aaron is sweating through his linen shirt. 7:45 p.m. Linda the wife arrived. She is talking to Christine the lurker. They look like they are exchanging confidential documents. 8:20 p.m. String quartet is wrapping up. Aaron is grabbing a glass of champagne. Showtime. I pulled out my phone. I had pre-recorded the message with Brenda earlier. My voice was shaky, but the script was solid. Hi everyone, this is Christian Thompson. Before Aaron gives his toast, I need to make an emergency community announcement regarding the Willowbrook Collective's financial stability. I waited until Brenda confirmed the music stopped. Brenda, now. I hit play and connected to the WILLOWBROK emergency system. The high-quality speakers of the studio boomed my voice into the silent room. My voice pre-recorded. Hi everyone, this is Christian Thompson. Before Aaron gives his toast, I need to make an emergency community announcement regarding the Willowbrook Collective's financial stability. Chaos immediately erupted according to Brenda's rapid-fire texts. She saw Aaron drop his champagne glass. My voice pre-recorded. This party, Aaron's transformative 63rd birthday, was paid for entirely by funds stolen from the Colony Maintenance Joint Account. Funds intended for community repairs, utilities, and primarily my security deposit for moving out. I could hear gasps and murmurs through Brenda's voice message, which she was recording live in the back corner. My voice pre-recorded. I have documented evidence including wire transfers totaling over $6,000 for catering Exotique, Amazon Decor, and a $1,500 party planning advance paid directly to Claire Foster 57F, who was fully complicit in this fraud. I heard Claire screaming in the background. Turn that off, that's fake. My voice pre-recorded. In addition to the theft of the community funds, Aaron Gallagher, 63M, also used my personal credit card, linked from my saved Hulu password to pay for his personal needs, including a $200 purchase at Target for adult diapers and 3 cases of Diet Coke. I've enclosed the receipt in the email Willie Johnson is currently sending to the entire colony, titled The Truth About AARON's Flow of Life. Brenda texted, OMGWILLA just hit reply all. The whole colony is getting the diaper receipt. The irony of the reply all abuser being the key to broadcasting the crime was not lost on me. Willie had finally used his power for good. I continued the broadcast, delivering the final, crucial blow. My voice pre-recorded. I understand Aaron planned to use this event to secure a major commission and pay off his long-standing, messy divorce from his estranged wife Linda Gallagher, who is actually in attendance tonight. This party is not an investment in his future. It is a desperate attempt to cover up financial insolvency and fraud. I will be pursuing criminal and civil charges against Aaron and Claire starting Monday morning. I hung up, heart pounding so hard I felt dizzy. I had burned the bridge, the colony, and probably my ability to sleep soundly for the next 3 months. A moment later, Brenda called, not texted. She sounded exhilarated. It worked. Christian, absolute pandemonium. Wallace Sterling just looked at the leaning sculpture, looked at Linda, and walked out. Linda is currently talking to Aaron, and I think she just slapped him. Claire is trying to wrestle Willie's phone away from him, and Willie just screamed, reply all is necessary for justice. I ended the call. The damage was done. The party was ruined. The truth was out. The aftermath, the messy middle, the next 3 days were a blur of logistics and emotional whiplash. By Sunday morning, the air at Willowbrook Collective felt toxic. I was technically still living there, but I had barricaded myself in Unit 7B. I had already filed a police report with the local sheriff's department, who NGL seemed entirely bored by art colony drama, but took the embezzlement seriously once I showed them the bank statements. I had 47 missed calls from Aaron, 12 frantic texts from Claire denying everything. It was a loan, Christian, a temporary loan. And a few genuinely supportive texts from other, quieter residents who apparently had also been taken advantage of by Aaron's investments. Christine Sullivan 50F, camera off, surprisingly became my biggest ally. She texted me Monday morning. Christine, I have all the records. I can confirm Aaron's legal fees transfers and Claire's consistent overbilling on the utilities account. I've been documenting their financial exploitation of the colony for 3 years. Meet me at my bungalow. I went to her place, terrified she was going to have a full dossier on my own embarrassing life choices, but she was entirely focused on justice. She wasn't just lurking, she was gathering evidence. She handed me a flash drive containing years of receipts and damning emails where Aaron and Claire discussed how to massage the numbers to afford their luxury tastes. Christine was a hero, albeit a silent, slightly creepy one. The Aaron confrontation by Tuesday, Aaron had run out of options. He was being shunned by the entire colony, including Willie, who was now demanding a refund for the communal cleaning supplies Aaron had charged to the fund last November. Aaron showed up at my door at 10:00 a.m. looking utterly defeated, smelling vaguely of cheap whiskey and panic. He looked haggard. His linen shirt was wrinkled. He hadn't shaved. He didn't look like the mean girlfriend anymore. He looked like a pathetic old man facing the consequences of 5 years of lies. "Christian," he started, his voice cracking. "We need to talk. I can explain." I opened the door enough to lean out, maintaining maximum distance. "Explain what, Aaron? That you stole $6,500 from the man who helped set up your studio, that you used my credit card to buy Depends, that you funded a transformative party that was actually a settlement negotiation with your wife using my savings." He rubbed his temples. "It was temporary. It was a desperate situation. Linda was going to ruin me. I was going to pay you back with the commission money. I only needed a few days. You lied about a $43.67 grocery bill, Aaron," I stated flatly. "That wasn't desperation, that was contempt. You thought I was too stupid or too nice to notice." He actually started crying, big theatrical sobs. "I am sorry, Christian, I truly am. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I've lost everything. Brenda left me. Linda's demanding $20,000 now. Wallace Sterling called the foundation board. I'm ruined." "You ruined yourself, Aaron," I said, my voice steady. I realized I wasn't shaking anymore. I was just tired and utterly determined. "You have until Friday to pay back $6,850, the total amount of my money you spent plus the fraudulent credit card charges. If not, the police report moves from embezzlement to grand larceny and I contact the foundation board myself." He stared at me, his mouth agape. "Where am I supposed to get $6,850 in 3 days? That's your problem," I replied. "Not mine, figure it out. Maybe sell the extremely expensive power tools you bought with the art supplies funds, or maybe the crooked sculpture." I slammed the door. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt like I had closed a very, very heavy ledger. The financial reality and the transformation, the money didn't magically appear by Friday. Of course it didn't. Aaron didn't have it, however the threat had consequences. I got a call late Friday night from a lawyer, not Aaron's lawyer, Linda Gallagher's lawyer. Linda, the wife who was actually at the party, was horrified by the full scope of Aaron and Claire's financial manipulation. She realized that if Aaron went to jail, she wouldn't see a dime of the settlement. She had also confirmed that Claire had used her party planning advance money not just for the caftan, but for a down payment on a new, extremely expensive, hyper-realistic dog portrait series. The lawyer offered a settlement. Linda would put up $5,000 immediately, provided Aaron signed the final divorce papers and agreed to move out of Willowbrook Collective permanently by the end of the month. She saw it as a necessary cost to finally be rid of him and protect her own financial reputation. I hesitated. It wasn't the full amount, but $5,000 now was better than a potential court battle spanning years. I called Brenda. "What do I do?" "Take the money," she advised. "Aaron's transformation won't come from jail. It will come from being utterly humiliated and having his life ripped away. The colony needs to be cleansed of him and Claire. This is the fastest way." I accepted the $5,000 transfer from Linda Gallagher, attorney at law, on Saturday morning. It felt surreal. My theft repayment came from the wronged wife. I immediately texted Aaron, final payment received from Linda, $5,000. "You still owe me $1,850 and I'm forwarding the credit card fraud details to the police. You have 30 days to clear the debt and vacate the colony premises. Do not contact me again." He replied for the first time without the mean girl veneer. "Understood. I'm sorry, Christian." I blocked him on everything. The Claire fallout. Claire Foster, 57F, was a different beast. She didn't crumble. She went into full attack mode, attempting to rally the colony against me. She called an emergency community meeting on Sunday afternoon. I showed up prepared. "Claire, Christian is destroying our community. He's forcing Aaron out over a misunderstanding of funds. He's being an overly aggressive corporate drone." I held up my phone, displaying the Venmo transaction where she paid herself $1,500 for party planning advance. "Me, Claire, you participated in stealing $6,500 from a joint account. That's not a misunderstanding, that's felony theft. Christine has all the receipts proving you were actively colluding with Aaron to hide his debt." Christine Sullivan, the Zoom camera always off person, stepped forward from the shadows of the room holding a laptop. "Christine, I confirm I have years of documentation. The $85 plumber bill Christian mentioned in part 1. Claire inflated that to $200 and kept the difference. She's been doing this consistently." Claire's eyes went wide. She looked absolutely betrayed by the colony's silent observer. The tide turned instantly. Claire lost all social capital. Nobody wanted her hyper-realistic dog portraits anymore. She couldn't function without being the queen bee. She gave notice the following day. She was moving to Miami to explore new artistic avenues, read, escape the crushing weight of public shame. Resolution and reflection. A week went by where I felt like I was constantly looking over my shoulder, but then the dust settled. Aaron moved out shamefully in a rusty U-Haul. I saw him drive past my bungalow. He didn't look at me. Willie Johnson was standing outside Unit 3B cheering the departure, accidentally hitting reply all on a celebratory email. Claire is gone, taking her expensive scarves and her ridiculous jumpsuit with her. I'm typing this from my new apartment. It's a shoebox in the nearest town and the view is of a brick wall, but it's mine. The security deposit was tight, even with the $5,000 from Linda, because I still had that $1,850 gap. I had to drain my emergency stock savings, but I'm stable. I'm free. The Willowbrook Collective survived weirdly. It underwent a massive management transformation. Willie is now in charge of financial transparency, which is terrifying but effective because he audits everything and immediately replies all with the results. Christine Sullivan is the co-treasurer, ensuring everything is documented and nothing is hidden. I realized that my initial reason for joining the colony, escaping the corporate world and finding structure, was exactly what made me vulnerable. I traded one type of intense, predictable structure for the chaotic, emotionally manipulative structure of the artists. I put too much trust in people because I craved friendship and validation. I still have bad days. When I see a Target flyer, I get a weird visceral reaction. I'm eating ramen every night, but honestly, I'm sleeping soundly for the first time in years. I haven't heard from Aaron directly since I blocked him, but Brenda keeps me loosely updated. She told me Aaron's Flow of Life sculpture, the slightly crooked one that caused the drama, was taken down and is currently sitting in a storage unit next to his adult diapers. Poetic Justice NGL, I did something I never would have done before. I called my old manager from the tech job. I took on a few freelance analysis projects. It's remote, low stress, and pays the bills. I found structure, but this time it's defined entirely by my own boundaries. I learned the hard way that a person's age or status as an esteemed artist doesn't make them wise or trustworthy. It just means they've had more time to perfect their manipulation techniques. I'm not proud of how much I cried in my Honda Civic or the sheer rage that fueled Operation Detonation, but I am proud that I stood up for myself. I got my money back mostly, I exposed the fraud, and I reclaimed my life. Yesterday, I bought a bottle of cheap Pinot Noir and spent 2 hours watching a documentary about forensic accounting. I laughed out loud when I realized I was actively embracing the thing I ran away from: analysis and structure, but applying it to my personal life this time. My real transformation wasn't artistic, it was financial and personal. I'm no longer the recovering workaholic who desperately seeks external approval. I'm just Christian, 28M, and I now double-check every single joint account agreement I ever enter into. I finally changed the communal Netflix password too. Petty? Yes. Satisfying? Absolutely. Anyway, that's the update. I'm still budgeting, still healing, and still dealing with the fallout of being robbed over a party that ended in a slap fight. If anyone asks, I'll tell them my personal journey to self-discovery involved $6,500, a string quartet, and a very confused Target cashier. We'll update if Aaron actually sends that $1,850 he still owes me. Spoiler, he won't.